people a chance. And please, guys, one question, not 2 or 3, and then other people can't ask us, please. Right answer.
Rassie, Rudy here from Forever Sports.
Hi.
How excited are you to have Peter Step back at number 7?
Well, very excited. Won't forget that they have a World Player of the Year. When you get him back and you see him training, which he's done the last 2.5, 3 weeks with us, you realize the quality that he has. And we're not excited for him to play for us on Saturday, but also for the other guys to have him there to learn from him. So yeah, he's been great. He could have easily been also captain in this game, but he hasn't played for a really long time. So very excited, along with a few others that also returning from injury and those kind of things.
So,
just looking at the team, obviously 11 changes in the starting lineup alone. How much of it is influenced by what you were going to do this week versus what happened against Italy?
Yeah, I think not a lot. After I post the game at the press conference and then immediately at the team chat afterwards, that was frustrating. But then you go and look deep into what happened in the game. Not a lot of chance. I think if you ask Mapimpi, most of the guys who's playing here, there's maybe 1 or 2 guys that, and I don't want to get into that would have played this game, and hopefully we can give them a chance against Georgia. But the changes are more respect for Italy than our performance itself, because we had a very experienced team, and I guess that makes it really difficult for the opposition to play against, but very easy to analyze in terms of how you know the strengths and weaknesses of opposition, where it's very tough for us to have really see where's there, maybe you know where the players' individual strengths are, but you don't know where the weaknesses are because you haven't played against them before. And now we had 1 game against them, and the guys who played last week could transfer a lot of knowledge to the guys playing this week. So yeah, I would say 2 or 3 guys who missed out this weekend, but probably get a chance next weekend.
Rassie, how far is sort of Sia, because obviously the Barber's game, it was neck, and then last week was the niggle with Achilles. Are those injuries any influence to him not being this?
No, he's for Elizabeth. We would love to play him, but he should just weigh up the positives and negatives of playing him a week early. I guess he could have played last weekend, but having 14 games this year, if you can play 10, that will be awesome. But we're also not expecting guys to play, all of them to play 10, 11 plus. So while we have the luxury of resting him another week, he wants to play in this game. I mean, my team wants to play in this game. I want to be involved here because we're from here. So it was a tough one, but I think the wise decision is to give him another week because it's really not a serious one. But Achilles, if you have another week's rest, it can only be better for you. But hopefully next week.
Rassie, a very exciting backline is selected for this week. Kane and Moody at 13 is quite noticeable, and a new 9 and 10 combination. Would you say you want to up the tempo in this match in the second test compared to last week?
Yeah, I must just first get to last week again. We scored 42 points. So 2 tries of them were disallowed and 1 of ours were disallowed. So to score 42 points, I think you're going to look at the test match last week, and of all test matches played, we scored the most points, and not that's something to rave about, but our attack wasn't bad. It's just when we're 28-3 up, you could see there was a little bit of a relax and thought things would just go easy now, which you don't expect from a team with those amount of caps. So up until halftime, 28-3, just after halftime, try disallowed, and then it could have been 35. And you could have put them under the pump, and then they really played well, and we played really not good. So that team didn't attack badly. Damien and Gertley was good. Gertley and Cheston had the most carries in the last 2 games for us. So the ball went wide, and we scored a scrum try, we scored some physical tries and some grubber tries and passing tries. But it's definitely a few players for them. Not a guy like Mapimpi and so on, they'll know him well. But there will be a few new guys for them to also try and handle. So it's exciting to see the young ones. I wouldn't say they are more of an expansive team than the team that play, because you take Cheston and Kirtley out, and Jesse and those guys, they can play the game. But yes, exciting for the youngsters and older guys.
Rassie, just the makeup of that bench, obviously a 5-3, but are we looking potentially at a 6-2 with Andre? And then can you maybe talk about the guys who brought on to that bench?
Yeah, I think that, you know, if things go our way, it can be used as a 6-2. But then, you know, because Sasha covers quite a few positions, you know, he covers 10, 15, and 12. I think a guy like Rassie, we had a good chat to him. Rassie and Damien Willems, you know, those guys could have easily been in the mix here. But just to have the makeup of a guy like Ethan who covers for you 12 and 13, you know, then Sasha do just 10 and 15 for you. And then obviously Kobus is a straight swap, and Andre, if you really have to, can move to 6 flank like we use him now. I don't think that's a secret anymore. So yes, it's Kobus is obviously covering lock and loose forward for us, and Ivan 6 and 8 for us. And then the front row is probably obvious with Gallagher covering hooker for us now. So overall, just trying to get into this group, into most of the guys, 2 matches in these 4 matches will be ideal.
Guys, 4 minutes left on bloggers. So if anybody has questions for Mapimpi that you want on blogging, please get that, and then we can go on for the other 10 minutes. So does anyone on bloggers have a question for Mapimpi before we switch? No? Okay, we can go on.
Just Rassie, a word on, obviously you're really getting to his 100th. You've built up to this one for a while now and spoken about it at length, but just a word on him.
Yeah, well, I've played 100 test matches, you know. I'm not sure what his win percentage is, you know, those 100 test matches. I really don't know. But I know there's only 7 or 8 guys that's done that before. So, but he's an interesting character, and you know, I understand totally that when people, you don't know him personally that well. In the beginning, I didn't know him well at the Stormers, and sorry for this long answer. But I basically said he couldn't make the Stormers squad when he was in there because his emotional involvement in the game, he shows, you know, he's a guy that shows what he feels. And I remember talking once to a coach overseas where he plays, and I said, I don't understand why Willie is doing these actions. And then he said to me something that really stuck with me, where he said, because he cares so much. You know, he doesn't hide his emotions. And I think if you talk to Mapimpi or anybody in the team, the way Willie looks sometimes when he's a little bit down or not happy, it's definitely not a reflection of how he feels for the rest of the team. It's just how much he cares for the team. So very happy. I definitely made a mistake in the beginning not keeping them at Stormers. And now he's got 100 test matches, you know, 2 World Cups. He's done a few things for Wasp, you know, he's played for the Free State. So we're very proud of him, and we hope we can help him to make this one a memorable game.
One from Makazole, good morning from Sky Sports Italy. I read that back in the past that you said that in 2027 you would have been maybe too old to make Rugby World Cup. Are you still in the same mind, or maybe this match against Italy is another one to say, okay, maybe I'm still here?
Yeah, of course I'll be old that time. I think 37. It's kind of high age at that time. Honestly, I can't promise myself about that. The only thing that I can do now is just to focus what's going on in front of me, which is can be the Sharks, and also when I'm here with the Springbok, we can go to Springbok. So it's depending also if we're not bordering sometimes. I'm very happy to be here at the Springbok at this stage.
Hi, Rassie. You mentioned that your defense this past weekend was not as you would wanted it to be. What have you noticed was the issue in that game, and have you worked on those things?
Yeah, I thought last week at the press conference they scored 4 tries, but it was 3, so I said that wrong. But if you look at the 3 tries, there was nothing that they outsmarted us. It was missed tackles, one-on-one missed tackles, and guys getting momentum, and us just not getting, in our opinion and Jerry's opinion, time to set the line. When we were attacking, they were really competing hard at the breakdown. And like they did in the first 2 Six Nations games, they really manned up physically. I mean, guys like Evan was tackled back, Lewis was tackled back, and they kept on doing that. So yes, it's frustrating to just concede 3 easy tries like that without being even a man down. But that's something I think which is fixable. So I think we don't have a problem that was our problem. We know that, and the guys who's playing this weekend hopefully will fix that.
For Makazole, It's very exciting to have you back in the Eastern Cape. Just from your point of view, the emotions, the feelings, coming back to the home fans, playing in Gqeberha on Saturday, what does it feel like?
I think all of us as a team are very excited to be back here. I think the last time we were here was after COVID 2001. And also did see the kind of the love the time we arrived at the airport at the same time. And also when we play in PE at the East London, it was hit different because people don't experience what a lot of people experience to the city. It can be sharks, can be storms at the same time. So it's very rare Springbok play here. So I'm sure people are very excited to come in numbers to watch us.
All right, guys, vlog is off.